Okay, welcome to Switch Your Sitch with your host, Katie Turner, and super excited today because we haven't touched on franchising models before. We're doing a little bit in the eating space because I've just done a podcast with Neil Perry. But we haven't touched on franchising. I'm super excited to invite Frank Micali to this podcast because he has created the brand name Franky Co. And I'm going to let you go into how many franchises you currently have. But also, Frank and I also do a brief stint at Penrith Panthers. And we'll touch on divine intervention and how you actually kicked off Franky Co. So I'm going to hand it over to you. 2014 was the year that things didn't work out with Penrith Panthers. I left there, I think, about the same time to have a baby. You left and Franky Co was born. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Frank.
Yeah, we were born in, I've done two stints at Panthers. One, we overlapped, and I went back 2016, and that's when, unfortunately, it didn't work out. And a few months later, November 4th, 2016, the first Franky Co. was born in Denzer Park Plaza, a small shopping centre in Western Sydney. And that's pretty much where it kicked off.
And so that was your first store. How many do you have now?
We have 17 at the moment. They're all franchise. We have two more 100% opening before the end of the year. We have a few more in the pipeline there, again, already franchised.
And so Franky Co. derived from your name, I'm assuming.
There's a bit of a story behind it, but yeah, there is.
Yeah. Well, can you please share that story? Because I love names and branding and how they actually come about.
Look, sometimes things just happen and sometimes things are planned, and this was a bit of planned and a bit of things just happened. So around August 2016, I wasn't working for various reasons, and I previously had another franchise in the coffee industry with another brand, and I learned we did very well. We're actually their number one in their portfolio. We sold it. Me and my wife worked quite hard on it. We had quite a lot of staff, big operation, from breakfast, noon to lunch and dessert. And then we sold it. And then we always do. We always knew that there was a gap in the market with the patisserie style, the cake style, the coffee and cakes. So there was a bit of planning, a bit of preparation, and then randomly we get a phone call from a landlord who owns this little centre in the Denzer Park Plaza. It's a small centre, small Coles, it's a big medical centre, pharmacy. It's got one of everything. And I had one cafe, cake shop, and unfortunately the cake shop wasn't going to survive. And we get a phone call because the landlord was a family friend, and he knew we had another cafe industry experience not far by, and he asked me if I could replace like for like, and I said it's interesting you saying that because me and my wife Tina were actually just speaking about the coffee and cake space, and it's not very, there's an opportunity there. So I get a call I meet the landlord, and then a few weeks later he calls me. He goes, when can you open? I said, when do you need me open? He goes, you've got till 8 days because everyone's going to close down. I need you to quickly kick off. So we kind of, I made some phone calls from some friends in the industry who was a coffee supplier, who was a cake supplier, where I could get donuts and cannolis and muffins and pies and sausage rolls from them. I rang a friend of mine who's a builder, and within 8 days, we opened. Wow. And of course, like anything, the last thing we thought of was the name. So we actually traded 11 days, not ideal, with no name.
No name, coffee and cakes.
It was just nothing. It was interesting, and we heard all the business without a name isn't a business, and we heard everything on the sun, and we toyed with different names and logos and ideas, and I said, look, to me, my wife, who's got we're pretty fortunate, she's got a marketing degree, and I said, look, we've got to move quick. We can't move any longer. So the first 11 days we had no name, and hence Franky Co. So yeah.
And how long did you have that flagship store at a Denzer Park, was it?
The Denza Park Plaza. Yeah, look, the first few months were tough. We opened in November. There was a bit of unrest in the community. It's a very community-based shopping centre. The old cake shop was no longer there. We wouldn't get into details ethically and morally as well, but so then we were the new guys. It took a good 3 or 4 months for the community to warm to us. And then leading into Christmas, you get good sales, but January is very hot, 45 degrees in Western Sydney. No one wants coffee and cake. Everyone's beach house and jet skis and holidays and beaches. So it was tough. And then February, March, kind of kicked off and the community warmed to us and we're pretty fortunate. I had very good staff. So that I was very fortunate there. I had very good customers, very good supporters. We're very fortunate there. So we had that, and then December that year, so 13 months after opening our first one, it's an interesting story. I tried to ring a lot of landlords, your Westwoods, your Stocklands, your Charter Halls, who I've got great relationships with now. At the time, they wouldn't take my phone call. They were, who are you? You're just another coffee and cake. Oh, we get these phone calls 10 times a day. I've been told at the time, we only had the one shop, we're another dime a dozen, and I'm begging and pleading them, like, please, I'll send a limo, I'll pick you up personally, I'll take you to whatever restaurant thing, I need to have a meeting with you, I want you to come and see, because we were very successful out of Denza Park Plaza. We're doing a lot of coffee, we're doing about 60 to 80 kilos of coffee a week.
Wow, yeah.
We're doing about 2,000 plus cannolis a week, we're doing about 2,000 donuts a week, plus cakes and tarts, and we just couldn't keep up. The shop wasn't big enough and the centre wasn't big enough to sustain it. So I'm like, you've got to come. I need you to come and check it out. There was Saturdays and Sundays we needed another coffee machine in there. That's how busy it was.
Wow. And did that ever get into your head that, with that negative, no, that this isn't going to work, that self-imposter syndrome where you start to doubt your own self-ability?
No, look, I've played a lot of sport and like we've come from the same background. You just got to, we just got to keep chipping away, keep plugging away. Eventually, you'll crack the defensive line, as they say. So, and eventually we did. Fairfield near the city was the only one that would take my call, and it's quite interesting. I use the word. I don't mean any offence to David Bradbury, but I was the David Bradbury of these leasing opportunities. So basically, I was the last man standing where no one else would take the tenancy. So I was it. And so, that was our second store at Fairfield near the city, which was an old Michelle's patisserie, where no one else wanted it. Our third store was a few months after that at Bonnery Plaza, which was an old Donut King next to a very busy Woolies, only 2 kilometres away from Denza Park. And we were worried that it might cannibalise each other, but it didn't. They're actually both, even to this day, 5 years later, very successful. And again, I was the last man standing. And then again, our fourth store was Kings Langley. And again, it was empty for 9 months. No one wanted it. We were told we're mad, it will never work. I've been told, our first 4 stores, I was told, Denza Park, Fairfield, and Bonnery, and Kings Langley, I was told I was mad, it will never work. Nothing's ever worked here. It's quite interesting. Still to this day, they're 4 of our top successful stores. They're all doing 60 to 70 kilos of coffee a week. And so it's a great success story. Look, Charter Hall, probably the shopping centre group, Charter Hall, they gave me the opportunity. And after that, then the Stocklands and the Westfields and the other who wouldn't take my call and told me I was a dime a dozen and just another coffee, guy. Then they were calling me, inviting me for lunches and picking me up in cars. There's a bit of a twist to this story too, where our knife store was in Stockland, Werriville Park, and that was the one I really wanted to get into in our second and third store. And that leasing executive, who I'm still very good friends with to this day. She was calling me. I'm like, hang on, I'm just another dime a dozen. So it was humorous on my side, but frustrating on her side.
Good.
It's all fun and games. So yeah.
But I think that persistence and that hard work, like that's paramount, right? And working through that adversity. I think in today's world, everybody wants instant gratification, and I'm going to be success from day dot. But it's really about the grind, right?
Oh yeah, look, you're 100% right. Look, there was times when at Danza Park when we weren't doing well those first few months. I questioned, have I done the right thing here? I had other job offers back in IT, sales and marketing, and in sport, with other organisations, and I was questioning, have I done the right thing? But I always knew. I do a lot of research and study on not just franchising, but also other models. I have no shame in saying I constantly watch what other people, not just in the Australian market, but all over the world do. And if I think it's going to work for me, I'll use it. Like some people won't admit it, but yeah, look, a copy is a copy of a copy, really. And I have no shame in saying that. So, and like I said, there was doubt, but I always was confident that what we were doing and how we were doing it and the reasons why we were doing things, especially with certain products. And I have a big saying, I'll never compromise price for quality of product. So it finally, and the rest played history. Look, I was chatting to someone a few weeks ago. I'm very fortunate. I had some very supportive franchisees at the start. I had some very strong supportive staff who I'm still very good friends with to these days, and they've gone off into one physio, accountancy, naturopath, police officers, but I was school teachers, lawyers. So I was very fortunate that I had them on board at the early piece. And again, those first few franchisees shared our vision and knew what we were going to do and why we were doing it. And I think, look, in sales, you got to back up what you're going to do. It's quite common, especially in food service. They'll promise the world, deliver the outlets.
Yes.
So, I'd rather under-promise and over-deliver. And the fundamentals are key now. We have a headquarter operation at Silverwater where we supply all the stock.
Wow.
So our buying power is quite large.
Yeah.
Our volume's quite huge. It ensures that our franchisees don't have to worry about fighting suppliers and dealing. Like I hear stories of cafe owners and restaurant owners dealing with 40 different suppliers. So they do with one supplier, they do with us, and I'll guarantee they won't get the same product cheaper elsewhere.
And it's quality control, right? You get to manage what quality goes out there.
Definitely, and we've always had strong quality. We've got our operations manager based here at Silverwater, and we monitor strictly. We work with key suppliers on custom products that are exclusive to Franky Co. And a year ago, to add to the piece, we opened our kitchen in Leichhardt where we make our own donuts now.
I've heard about these donuts. Tell me more, because I am dying to try these. Are they better than Krispy Kreme?
I'll send you some and you be the judge. Krispy Kreme, a big global brand, and they've done well for a reason. But yeah, I think the secret is we never take a shortcut. So we bake daily, we bake fresh, we deliver in the mid-mornings to get to our stores before opening fresh. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and they're a big size donut. And the stores sell them for $5 for $10. So it's
wow,
amazing.
That's huge for a donut, right? And coming from a good Southern Italian background, you definitely know how to do a donut or a cannoli. I can guarantee that. Definitely.
Yeah, look, and the cannoli is another great story where we have to import the shells from Sicily because the volume we go through, local suppliers weren't able to sustain. So we get a container every few months from Sicily with the shells, and our stores, we make the custards and the fillings and the ricotta, and we're able to send them to the store so they can fill them fresh in store for customers. So, yeah.
Amazing. So you've come from a franchise background and you've had a good experience with it. And we've known what one retail food group have done with franchises. Have you had any kickback from people scared to get into the franchising model?
Yeah, look, definitely. It's I think that today's market is definitely unknown with what's going on around the world. There is always concerns buying into any business or starting any business. I suppose there's always concerns, fears, the unknown. And in franchising, yeah, it's definitely we get a lot of inquiries. We get a lot of inbound inquiries on our model. It's quite interesting. I often say this to my current franchisees. I said the likelihood of our new franchisees or franchisees looking to come on board to buy particular current sites we've got out there now, the 9 times out of 10, it's a customer.
Yeah, right. Because they love the product.
Well, pretty much. They can see what's going on. They've done their own research. They get a good feel about it. You know, they're visiting 2, 3, 4 times a week. They're trying our coffee, our cakes, our so on and so on. They're seeing, and obviously there's some great success stories. There's some other ones that need a bit more work, but they see the successful stores and they want to be part of it. And yeah, look, I've got franchisees that are ex-truck drivers, ex-sales and marketing guys. I've got ex-everything, mechanics. I've got an ex-carpenter who's one of our most.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of ex-Subway franchisees now, which is good. They're good too. But yeah, look, they're all different. But yeah, there definitely is concerns. I think the biggest thing why we're 100% franchise, like we don't have any company stores at the moment, is because once they come to our headquarters and see how much work we put in terms of the suppliers and the product and the delivery to make it as simple for them as possible, it gives them a lot of confidence that, yeah, I'm going to partner with Franky Co, with Frank, because he's going to look after us. We're not going to be running around Sydney picking up stock, fighting packaging suppliers, and coffee suppliers, and milk suppliers. That's Frank's job. Yeah.
That's the hard work, right? You've now got the quality control. You've produced the products, the coffee. You know it works.
We definitely know it works. We're always looking at new ways and new products. I'm always studying overseas markets, especially the Europeans and the US. Yes. So it never ends. We're not complacent, and we know to stay on top. You've got to keep on top. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And so it's important when you buy into a franchise to believe in the product, but what about when you pick your franchisees? Are you quite selective about who you're going to, because that's your baby, right? That's, you don't want somebody to get in there and ruin the hell out of that.
Yeah, look, you're right. We definitely meet them a few times. We have like lunches, dinners. The process sometimes, there's been one particular franchisees, it took 11 months of lunches, coffees, dinners. And he's one of our most successful franchisees at the moment. So yeah, we definitely are selective and choosy who we're going to be with. But we always say if they follow the model and follow the fundamentals and the principles of the operation, they'll succeed. All our stores are basically ex-Michelle's or Donut King sites.
Yeah. And
we know that they did very well for a very long time in those locations. We're generally in front of busy Coles and Woolies sites. And even during these tough times, people still need their groceries. So it's kept us afloat during this time. We're actually doing quite well during this time. So, yeah.
So coming into that, what are you doing during COVID? Like, are you able to open any sites? Are they all closed? How have you had to pivot that model?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. We've only got 2 out of the 17 that aren't operating at the moment.
Wow.
And it's interesting because they're the 2 times we didn't follow our own advice, where we didn't open in front of the Coles and Woolies. So they're in locations like in fashion retail locations. But all our other ones are very close, if not directly in front of the Coles and Woolies, the supermarket. They're all open, takeaway only, and they're doing quite well. So yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Well, the only thing that I go out for now is groceries and coffee. So it's an outing to go and get a takeaway coffee. So I'm thankful that my local coffee shop's open as well.
Yeah, look, I'll probably add, we're pretty, our franchisees and staff have done an amazing job. I'm being a sales and marketing background, I'm very big on sales training. I'm very big on customer service. Customers key, customers number one. And we've got some great franchisees that ingrain themselves pretty heavily in those communities. And look, in return, during these tough times, those communities have really supported us tremendously, and yeah, we're at a debt of gratitude to those communities.
And so, do you do that coaching yourself with your franchisees? Like, do you offer that? Or
yeah, definitely. My phone's on 24/7, 7 days a week, and I'll do anything for any of our Franky Co stores. I could be here for hours telling you stories where I've dropped everything and rushed to a store to help them out because their barista called in sick, or their machine broke down, or their cool room something, or they need emergency stock. So I'll quickly come to our headquarters, get it for them, and get it to them. So I'll do anything for any of our Franky Co's. Definitely. And again, I'll offer any training support. Most grab it, some don't want it because they know better, and that's always the way. But at the end of the day, they know we're here for the right reasons. So yeah.
And so, what's the goal? Like 17 now since 2016, right? Like that's 3 a year, or year on year, considering you didn't have any in the first 2 years. So 3 years and 17 franchises.
Yeah. We've got Greystone Shopping Centre coming up soon. We've got Pamelway Plaza coming up soon. They'll open this year. We've got a few more in the pipeline. Look, everyone asks me this question: do you have a number? Do you have a goal? No, we don't. We're structured fundamentally here at our operation, where my office is at Stillwater. We could probably handle 40 stores from this operation. Our kitchen at Leica, which we do about 16 to 20,000 donuts a week, depends on the week.
Jeebus.
A lot of donuts, and we only sell to Franky Co, so we don't sell our donuts to anyone else. That's
great.
Going through Franky Co stores. So we're looking to upgrade that facility very soon to get into a bigger facility. But the facility we're at here, we can handle easily 40 stores from this facility.
Because that's a clincher right there. If you keep those products within those franchises as well, that keeps those franchises going, right?
That's correct. Yeah, look, it's interesting. I got a call earlier this morning from a good friend of mine who's a leasing executive for a big shopping centre group, and he offered me a great deal, but unfortunately it wasn't geographically where we already are. So we'll stay where we can logistically, geographically get to. Yes. And then we'll also helps us build our brands in those areas and those regions. So we're very strong in the southwest, Western Sydney, northwest, and Newcastle, Maitland, Lake Macquarie region. We're very strong there.
Wow. And so how did you structure a franchise? Like, I was a franchise development manager for Contours back in the day for 8 months. When I sold my personal training studio, they brought me in. And that was my first experience with franchising, and it was owned by a male company, female gym, and they weren't too inclusive, I should say, or want to see that brand once they'd sold the franchise for a few years and it had started to level out. So how did you know how to structure it, how to create a franchise business?
Yeah, look, I was part of another franchise group previously, and we were very successful within that group. So we kind of learned a lot there. We learned what good practice and not good practice. What's good expectation, what's not good expectation. And then I've got a lot of friends in hospitality, in the other businesses as well. That are part of franchising, that's not a part of franchising. So I definitely picked up and learned a lot from those friends as well. And then, the legal side of things, look, that's the least of ours. I'm pretty fortunate. I've got some great legals who are experienced in